Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my February wrap-up. I've been doing these sort of journal with me wrap-ups for the past 2.5, 3 months now, and I really like them because they've really changed my relationship with reviewing and how I think about books. They're not perfect, but it just gives me a different way to think about reading. Obviously, a lot of times on Goodreads, I will write really in-depth analysis on these books that I'm reading and what I was thinking about them and have a really critical eye, versus when I do stuff on YouTube, I will also be really critical, but in a very different way. And then when I make these videos, I'm still having that critique and analysis that I would normally have in a wrap-up. But then when I'm physically writing on the page, is a lot to do more with how I'm feeling and thinking, and it gets to be a lot more personal about just the kind of ideas and what I was thinking when reading. And so I just really like having these kind of different experiences of thinking about reading and books because it just is really important to me. But anyway, let's get into my wrap up. February was not a great reading month for me personally. It's always been like a slow, slumpy reading month in general. I tend to not read a lot of books, and I definitely felt that in the later half of this reading month. I only read 3 books. There was a 2-week period when I wasn't reading anything and just playing video games and working on homework and stuff like that. I know that the next couple months will be very busy for me, so I expect that I won't be reading as much, but at the same time, I don't know, I just need some time to not be reading, which I think is okay. What I did read this month, but what I ended up reading this month did end up being really good. But to be honest, I didn't have tons of personal thoughts and feelings about them, just more analytical stuff. So what you're seeing in this journal is I was trying to make a collage of kind of snapshot moments or just little phrases of stuff that I was thinking about while reading these. The intention behind this page was to kind of show little scraps of moments or flashes of what I was thinking about these books in the kind of form of scraps that I would carry around in my pocket kind of a deal. So anyway, let's get into the books themselves. So the first book I read was Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. This was a literary fiction book that was very popular when it first came out. People really loved Celeste Ng's first novel, and so this one was very popular as well. And I had to read it for a class, and I'm really glad I did because I have been wanting to read it for a very long time. It's basically a suburban literary fiction, but it's really about the intersection of these two families and about the intersection of their identities when they come together. It's a lot about economic class, it's a lot about race, and things are complicated, things aren't simple, and it was really, really interesting to read about, and I really, really enjoyed it. I don't really want to get into the plot too much, but basically you start off the book, there has been a fire in this house, and you're taken back to the beginning of it all to see how the fires started. And you're following 2 women. One of them is a single mother who is an artist, and the other one is her landlord, who is a rich white suburban mom. I also watched the TV show for this, and I really like some of the changes they made, but other choices I didn't love as much. Still, I really do enjoy the TV show and recommend it just because I think it presses on some of the issues that the book was talking about in a more in-depth way, especially with having a Black person playing Mia. And I gave Little Fires Everywhere a 4 out of 5 stars. It was good. I liked it, but I wish some things were pushed harder. And the TV show I'd similarly give a 4 out of 5 stars to. I think it pushed it harder. I really liked where it went, but just some of the choices I wasn't appreciative of. The next book I read was Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. This is an adult romance sci-fi novel. I'm not going to talk about it a lot here because I am planning on doing a full review for it, which will be coming out hopefully next week. I didn't love it, and I feel very wary saying this because I know so many people enjoyed it, and I know so many people will enjoy it. What I wanted from this book, what I thought I was getting into, was very different than what this book actually was, and I will get more into that in my review, but just know it was a 3.75 stars for me. It was really well done. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this, but it just wasn't a perfect read for me. But anyway, we're getting into one of my full spreads now, and this is the spread for the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. This was definitely my favorite book of this month, and I think it's going to end up being one of my favorite books of the year. It just was so stunning, so good. If you don't know, the 5th season is a highly acclaimed adult fantasy series. Every single book in this series has gotten the Hugo Award, and it's well deserved. It's such a good series. It's very complicated and complex, and I don't want to reveal too much of it because it's just so good and you have to explore it for yourself. But basically, it's revolving around 3 different POV characters. There's a lot going on with the world and a lot of complex things going on. I don't know how to describe it, but basically some people have the power or the ability to feel the earth and move the earth. It's unlike anything I've ever read, and it's just so smartly crafted, so clever, so well done. And I want to read the entire series because I loved it so much. But yes, those are the 3 books I read this month. I had some things that I loved, some things that I thought were okay, but overall it was a really successful reading month in that I didn't read anything horrible, which is always a great thing. But going into March, I think I'm going to take a step back, focus on my writing as I'm going into my thesis month. I have 1 more month to really work on my thesis and perfect it, which is a little terrifying, but that's okay. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know this is a little bit different for wrap-ups in general on BookTube, but I've been really enjoying them. So thank you so much for watching and listening, and please let me know what your favorite book of this month was. I would love to know about it. But I'll see you guys later, and happy reading.